So, what we're diving into today, well, it's not your typical hero story. Not at all. Think of it more like a blueprint for a philosophical thriller. We're about to unpack a modern Faustine bargain, one that really deconstructs the whole idea of ultimate power and what it even means to be human.
And it all kicks off with this really chilling warning from Nietzsche's Zarathustra. Now, this isn't just some fancy poetic line. This is the setup. This introduces one of two possible futures for humanity, the two sides of a cosmic wager that is right at the very heart of the story. Because, you see, the central conflict we're exploring here isn't some simple battle between good and evil. It's a philosophical bet. A bet on what humanity really wants when you get right down to it. The difficult, messy struggle for greatness, or the safe, predictable comfort of just being content.
Okay, so this slide really breaks it down for us, right? You've got these two totally different paths. On one side, you have the last man. This is a pretty bleak vision of a humanity that's just given up. It only wants comfort, avoids anything hard, and finds its happiness in just fitting in. Then, on the other side, you have the will to power. This is all about the creative struggle. It's about embracing difficulty, affirming all of life, and constantly trying to overcome yourself to become something more.
So, you might be wondering, how does a big, abstract, philosophical conflict like this actually become a story? Well, it happens through three core characters, a kind of unholy trinity that makes this whole cosmic wager come to life. First up, we've got the scholar, a guy named Dr. Johannes Faust. He is this brilliant academic who's learned everything there is to learn and just found despair. And his biggest fear? It isn't hellfire. It's becoming one of those comfortable, meaningless last men. He is absolutely terrified of mediocrity. And then, of course, comes the tempter. But you gotta forget the whole horns and pitchfork thing. This is Mr. Sinos, a modern Mephistopheles in a sharp business suit. He doesn't deal in magic. He deals in institutionalized nihilism. He's the embodiment of that cynical corporate power that just wants everything to be predictable and weak. And what's the result of their little bargain? You get the Overman. And yeah, he's terrifying. He's supposed to be the pinnacle of human potential, a being with absolute power. But the thing is, he's a perfect physical ideal built on a totally corrupt philosophical foundation. He's a god who was born from a cynical shortcut, not from a real struggle. Okay, this is super important to get. Mr. Sinos isn't just some bad guy. He is the spirit who denies. He basically represents that little voice inside all of us and inside our society that's always pulling downward. He's like a force of philosophical gravity, always whispering for us to doubt ourselves, to deny our potential, and to just settle for a comforting lie instead of a difficult truth.
So let's get into the nuts and bolts of the deal. How is this power actually transferred? Because this is where the corruption really truly begins. It's not just about getting the power. It's about how you get it.
You know, the classic deal with the devil is always for your soul, right? But not here. It's something way more modern and honestly, kind of scarier. He doesn't trade his soul. He trades his independence, his objectivity, his entire ethical framework. It's a quiet takeover of the self, trading a real identity for a quick, engineered power-up. And check out how this deception works. The source material calls it the miracle man mechanism. It's not magic. It's cold, hard science. It's a total shortcut, a cheat. And here's the kicker. To cover up this philosophical crime, they implant the scholar with fake memories, making him believe he earned his godlike powers through struggle, hiding the rotten truth that his power was just handed to him. And this brings us to the absolutely horrifying, world-changing consequences of this messed up bargain. What does a god who was literally built on a lie and a shortcut do with absolute power? His justification? It comes from this chilling cry that Zarathustra heard from the masses when they were offered the challenge to become a superman, something greater. What did the crowd yell back? No thanks, just make us into the last man. This becomes the Overman's twisted mission statement. So, the Overman doesn't save humanity. He neutralizes it. He uses his incredible power to create the enforced last man state on a global scale. He systematically goes about removing every bit of conflict, struggle, and existential doubt from the human experience. And what does that look like? Well, it's a utopia of absolute comfort. That will to power, that drive to be more, it's psychologically suppressed in everyone. Art becomes bland, inoffensive entertainment.
Scientific discovery just stops because we don't want any of those difficult questions. Humanity's basically turned into a global collective of happy, sofa-bound citizens, rescued from the burden of ever wanting more out of life.
So, after all that, what does this chilling outcome really say about that original cosmic wager? Who was right about human nature in the end?
The peaceful, apathetic, completely controlled world the Overman creates, it becomes the ultimate proof that Mr. Sinos, the spirit who denies, won his bet. He proved his cynical theory that when given a clear choice, humanity will always, always pick guaranteed safety over the terrifying burden of difficult freedom. And that is the ultimate tragic irony of it all. The Overman achieves total power, only to become philosophically useless. His final act, wiping out aspiration itself, is the biggest self-betrayal imaginable. He was born from a desire to escape the last man, yet his destiny was to force that very state onto the entire world, proving that a godhood bought with a lie leads absolutely nowhere. Which leaves us with a final and pretty unsettling question. This whole story forces us to look at its utopia, a world with no pain, no risk, no failure, and to ask ourselves honestly, if the choice were absolute, which would you pick? Terrifying freedom or guaranteed comfort?